All right. Hey, friends, welcome back to the podcast this week. I am super excited to chat with you this week because we're going to talk about something I have never discussed on this podcast. And we've been on here for a hot stinking minute in the last couple of years, but we're going to be talking about YouTube today and how to use YouTube in particular to make money. I'm talking to Sean Cannell. Sean, did I say that right?
You did.
Okay, so apparently I have been living under a rock somewhere and had never been introduced to you until just recently. Clearly, you're the guy to know when it comes to YouTube, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thank you.
Jennifer, I'm so pumped to be here and just grateful that we're connecting.
Well, so I'm reading your bio and I'm like, okay, you're an author, obviously a YouTuber, a speaker, a business coach who's built a 7-figure media company, helping entrepreneurs and creatives build their influence and income with online videos. So we're actually doing some of the same stuff, but we're just using different channels to do it, which is super duper cool. I always love like kind of getting a peek behind the curtain to what's being successful to other entrepreneurs. You know what I mean? So I love that like I'm all in on Facebook. You're all in on YouTube, and I can't wait just to like totally pick your brain. And so this says that your YouTube channels have over 1 million subscribers. Holy crap. Your videos have been viewed over 43 million times. That's just a couple. And you really love giving people practical advice about video to spread their message. And one of the reasons, like selfishly, I was so excited to have you on is because I love live video, but I stink at YouTube. And right before we came on here, I was like, you know what? I don't even know how many YouTube subscribers I have. I mean, you can ask me about my email list, my Instagram, my Pinterest, my Facebook, and I will give you an exact number within like 50. But you asked me about YouTube, and I would have thought that I had 2,200. I just went and looked. Can I tell you? I'm at 4.5 thousand.
Woo!
Boom, baby.
That's a cool surprise.
Somewhere we doubled, and I don't even know. Like, that's a happy accident. I feel like I have really missed out on the YouTube train. And so I'd love to talk about that. And I'd love to talk about first, like how you got started. And then maybe you can help me figure out how to do better with something I really do want to be better with. But I think like, I'd love to understand the value of it, because I think once I really understand too, like the value of something, it helps me to double down on my efforts. But first of all, how did you even get started? How did you figure out you were going to be any good at this?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's a lot of serendipity in the timing of kind of what happened in my life. You mentioned some staggering stats, you know, like 1 million subscribers. I think we're over 50 million views now. And I'm just a small town kid from, I grew up in a town called Arlington, Washington, an hour north of Seattle, Washington. And I actually got into video in 2003. So I kind of had the edge of social media hadn't started, YouTube hadn't started. And I just started volunteering at my local church in the youth group. And the youth pastor handed me a camera. He said, hey, start shooting videos. And here's some video editing software. And you know what, Jennifer? Your first videos are your worst videos. I'm sure you know that as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, I watch stuff now and it's just so cringy. And I already decided I loved you. Just because my boys, our boys, I say my boys when I'm like really proud of my kids, and I say your boys to my husband when they're like causing me grief. But our second son, he videos like twice a month at our church. He's running a camera and he's obsessed with video. So like I'm already stoked about your story. Okay, so small town, me too, doing it at church, excellent.
Yep. And so, and it was kind of like, just like any of us, when we develop our skills, I got to put in a lot of repetitions because I was just a volunteer, but I was doing weekly videos Wednesday night. And after a year, the lead pastor was like, you know, these aren't too bad now. What if you did these on Sundays as well? So
these aren't horrific anymore.
Yeah. They're better than bad or terrible. So let's take it to another level. So then I started to do them on Sunday. So again, I'm still volunteering, 104 videos a year, plus maybe a few extras. And I've got another job and I'm balancing all these other things. So it was forcing me to just like level up, speed up, learn video, do it really ugly, start messy.
Right.
And actually the first YouTube channel that I ever worked on was our church's in 2007, just 2 years after YouTube started. So again, I didn't know what I was doing. Titles are wrong. Thumbnails are wrong, you know, learning different, not knowing the best practices, but that was kind of my early start. And I discovered I had such a passion for basically, you know, video, but also like online marketing and the strategy of it. And you started to see like, why did this post do better than that post? Yeah. And I just learned that like, I really love this stuff. So by 2009, I started a video production business and I started to help other small businesses even some authors and speakers, and even started getting connected with YouTubers. In fact, the co-author of my book, YouTube Secrets, Benji Travis, we met in 2010, 9 years before like now, in the same small town. And it was like, he was into YouTube too. His wife was a beauty guru, but like early stage. Now she's got millions of subscribers. She had like 100,000. And so I just, was finding myself kind of in the right place at the right time around the right people, but also taking massive action and putting in the hustle myself to really level up. And, they talk about the 10,000 hour rule with any type of a skill. Malcolm Gladwell is like, if you've done 10,000 hours of devoted practice at piano or as a lawyer or whatever, then you're kind of reaching mastery. Well, now I'm at like 30 or 40,000 hours of being on camera, behind camera, setting up the set, writing scripts, doing video production for small businesses, doing YouTube, interviewing experts. And so I've been in it. I've just been in this I've been in the game, man. I think back, the gray hair is filling in here, and but it's been a journey for sure.
Okay. I so love that. Where are you physically located? Like where in the States are you?
So I'm in Las Vegas right now.
Las Vegas, Nevada. So funny story, not funny at all. I've only been to Vegas once. Yeah. And I was 16 and I was with my parents. So they like left us in a hotel with a babysitter and they went and did Vegas-y things. So literally like the only thing I know about Vegas at this point is like what I see on HGTV for the people that are flipping houses in Vegas. So what does life look like in Vegas for you?
Well, I tell you what, I met my wife, Sonia, way back in 2005 and 2004 in, same small town. And we eventually moved to Vegas. She thought I would never move to Vegas, like in a million years, like of all places we'd pick, especially from like the Northwest. But what happened was Benji and Judy, those YouTubers we were working with, I was doing video production for them locally, but this opportunity came up for them to go do like this gala with a couple other YouTubers. Generosity Water was going to be there at the Palazzo Hotel. And they're like, hey, we need someone to come film this and kind of do like a reality show hybrid vlog thing. So I was like, well, let's go do it. Can I bring my wife? Sure. So I shot and did video production for them like Friday, Saturday. And then we extended the trip and visited a church on Sunday that has its roots. The lead pastors have their roots in the Northwest. So we knew of it. It was a mega church. I was a part of a very small church. And we went and visited them, and someone actually called ahead, a local pastor we knew, and said, hey, these guys are coming into town. And by this time now I'd done this YouTube stuff. I'd done social media, whatever. And so he actually scheduled lunch with us and eventually said, hey, would you like to consider a position down here being our director of communications, essentially the marketing director of a 2,500 person church, email marketing, Facebook. And I actually didn't really have that experience, but I was in the trenches, building a YouTube channel and all these other things. And so that ended up working out. And at first he said, would you consider this? And I said, well, I would, but I know Sonia wouldn't. So it's not even a thing. But she went back and she really felt like, I don't know, I think we're supposed to do this. And she's like praying about it. And so that's how we came to Vegas. So awesome. In answer to your question, it's like, it's so funny because obviously, Sin City, although we think Race City, but we just live in like a normal neighborhood. We have like a golf course neighborhood, like take our dogs in a walk.
Yeah, same. We live on a golf course as well.
So, and it is pretty normal. Summers are hot. It's kind of like an Arizona climate, obviously desert, but we're close to California. And what we learned was I was in that church season for a long time. And then eventually we learned that cost of living here, taxes here, and being a startup entrepreneur, it's amazing to be here.
I have actually heard that. I have heard that from several people that in terms of for business owners, because, the more revenue my business generates, and we 5 times our revenue last year from the previous year. And now all of a sudden I'm like, my ears are perking up when everybody's talking about, not that we're planning on moving, but I just see the value if you don't have deep roots somewhere already to perhaps scouting out the land when it comes to where tax things are a little easier for entrepreneurs.
100%. And I learned this because the pastor of that church is called the Church LV. His name's Benny Perez. And again, I just think about how it leveled me up to what I do today. I got to work on his personal brand as an author, speaker, micro content videos for him, editing messages, learning communication and all this stuff. But he was saying Vegas is really cool because it's so easy to travel in and out of. So if you want to travel and speak, go to conferences, go to events, I'm in LA in 45 minutes. I'm in San Diego in 45 minutes.
Oh, that's
I can
amazing.
Uber from my house with less than an hour before the plane takes off. TSA pre-check my way through there, just jump on, and I can go to LA and back. And
Yeah.
so it's actually become a very strategic place. And now actually most
Yes.
of our team is local. And so
Mhm.
we are all here, and so our roots have gone deep here. So now home is kind of California, Vegas, and Seattle. And we kind of, that triangle for us is sort of a, like a cycle or that we go through. Visit
Yeah.
family, we do a lot of stuff in California. We lived there for an
Mhm.
hour, a year and a half during
Yeah.
the story we've been telling here. But yeah, that's kind of our
I
West
actually,
Coast.
I actually love that because the more travel I do for work, and we have 4 kiddos, so I don't travel a ton. But when I do, time is precious, and I don't. The older I get, the more sensitive I am to the things that drain me, both physically and emotionally. And like last week, I went to Toronto, Canada, for a mastermind. Takes me 8.5 hours to get from my doorstep to the doorstep of my hotel. By the time I get there, I want room service. I don't want to talk. I'm like over it. And when I
Yep.
think about how there's other places, that I could get to in just a short hop, skip, and a jump, and it really does make a huge difference. And so I love that you're even looking at it from like a travel standpoint. Something, by the way, I never would have even thought would ever come out of my mouth a couple of years ago. But so let's talk YouTube. And so I kind of gave you my confession at the beginning. I have paid zero attention to my YouTube channel. Started it just because somebody told me 2 years ago. Have somehow doubled my following. I don't even know how. The other day, we got an email that I had a deposit from Google AdSense, and I sent it to my project manager, and I'm like, dude, what is this all about? And she goes, I don't know, let me look. And she comes back to me, Sean, and she goes, it's for ads on YouTube. And I'm like, ads on YouTube? Do we have ads on YouTube? Like, I'm totally telling you, being completely 100% transparent right now, our YouTube strategy is nil. So can you start out by just telling me, why is YouTube so important for an average business owner like myself? And keeping in mind that my audience, is mostly business owners who are creative. So there are a lot of people that make with their hands. They're people who I'm trying to get off of Etsy and onto their own website. They're makers, crafters, bakers, jewelry people, bloggers. So talk to me about why YouTube can be so important for us.
Well, Jennifer, this is a special moment because of exactly what you just said. And here's the big idea of why I believe YouTube is the best social media network, period. I love them all. I'm on all of the other ones. But when I think about Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I call them the social media hamster wheel. And the reason why is because to crush it on Facebook, you need to be on there posting like 1, 2, 3, 4 times a
Yes.
day. So you're trying to keep up on that. Now they're saying, Mark, is like, yo, the stories are being viewed. Eventually they're going to surpass the news feed. So now you need to be storing over there.
I'm going to be calling Mark.
Sure, right?
Yeah.
So you're posting on Facebook,
Yeah.
and then you're like, oh shoot, I know, but Instagram is so hot right now. So now you're on Instagram, and that's stressful because it's everything. So you're like, I'm storying, I'm posting photos, I'm doing IGTV, and then on top of that, you got to be networking on Twitter.
Yes.
It's a great way to connect with people, maybe
Yep.
pump some stuff. So I'm out here, tweet, IG, Facebook, and you got to do this every day because nobody
Exhausting.
watches Facebook, Instagram, Twitter's from a week ago, a month ago. And so you're doing all this stuff. Pinterest. Okay, now we're out here, pin. Now I'm trying to Facebook. Now I'm trying to Instagram. Now I'm on Twitter. And I'm exhausted. I'm on this social media hamster wheel. YouTube is different. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world, only second to Google, and YouTube is owned by Google.
Is Pinterest third after that? Do you know? I mean, I know most people don't think of Pinterest as a search engine, but I've always called Pinterest a search engine for pretty people.
It's
For people who like pretty things. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Pinterest is the only other social network that is a full-on search engine.
Yeah.
Google Images is actually the second
Really?
largest search engine. So technically YouTube's third.
Okay.
It goes Google Images, YouTube. But
fascinating.
yeah. And so anyways, the reason I love YouTube and the reason why every business owner and DIY creative needs to be thinking about it is because of leverage. And you already said it. We need time. Now here's what's crazy. You forgot about some efforts that you did on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened? Your channel doubled when you weren't even paying attention.
I
And what
wasn't
else
even
happened?
looking. And I'm telling you, like, nobody was as more shocked as me today when I looked at my YouTube. I'm like, when did that happen?
Yep. And you made money with that you didn't even know you were making.
Yeah, that's wild too. I mean,
So think about it.
It was like
How much
$100
money
and
did you
some
make?
dollars, which I know is like really impressive to you. No kidding.
No, but it is, because it's proof of concept that imagine if you were building
If I actually tried.
content equity there.
Yeah.
YouTube's kind of like real estate. Because it's a search engine, you can put out a video one time, but if you position it right, and it does what we teach, calling it ranking it in search, and you would know this, it's like SEO. We're talking about video SEO, video search engine optimization. Now your video can be viewed weeks, months, years, even multiple years later. So that's why I fell in love with YouTube, because I thought, if I'm going to put out energy, and here's the thing, YouTube, creating one really good YouTube video is kind of like an employee that you only have to pay once, but then works for free for you weeks, months, and years to come.
I mean, that sounds magical.
Very magical.
Yeah.
And you do have to pay them up front, meaning, so you got to put in the work, research before you press record, think about that title, think about everything. But if you do it right, then you can build this library of ranked videos. So Jennifer, any given 60 minutes, my channel Think Media, if you combine video influencers and Think Media, we get 3,000 to 4,000 views every hour, 24 hours a day, whether I upload new videos or not.
Okay, that's insanity. So let me tell you, I think, why I haven't put any efforts into YouTube. Can I tell you that? And then maybe you can like talk me off the ledge. Okay. So as a creative person, my background is I owned a decorative painting company for 17 years and found out about 5 years ago that there was only so much painting we could do locally in Kansas City. I was tapped out. We had a great business, was on Extreme Home Makeover many times in national magazines. It was all great. I had a client fly me to Belize to look at a home. So things were going well, but I'd capped my income. So what I figured out was, well, then let me just use the online space to teach people how to paint in their own house instead of me going to somebody's house. So, and I figured out, dang, I'm good at Facebook, like random, like I like it. I enjoy it. I also, by the way, love live video. So when Facebook Live came out, I'm like, I no longer have to go to my local TV station to, kind of get all excited about live stuff. I can just go on Facebook. So then when I think about YouTube, here's what in my creative brain, I think, Sean, I know you're going to see the holes all over this, but in my head, I'm thinking, I'm not technical enough. I don't know what is the right equipment because all I know how to do is work an iPhone. I feel like I got to have a video guy or a person that puts words over the video in order for it to be good. And that just all feels big as a creative person. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just go back to what I know, which is Facebook Live. So talk me off the ledge with that.
It's totally fair. And I mean, again, we did say you do have to pay the employee first, but then that employee works for you for free. So my question is it worth putting in a little extra time in the video production? Is it worth putting in a little extra effort into your video? Absolutely, because you can ultimately then grow and scale that faster because you're building up this library of ranked videos.
Gotcha. Sean, I'm going to introduce you to our new little toddler. This is Ariana, who she came to live with us about 8 months ago, and they're on a break from preschool right now. And this is Mr. Sean, who's teaching mom and all the podcast people how they can be good on YouTube. Let me just ask Ari real quick. Ari, what is your favorite thing in the world to do?
Play.
Is it watch YouTube? This person right here, when she came to live with us, was almost like addicted to kids' YouTube. So she is like your case in point right here. Do me a favor. Go take the doggy out to daddy, okay? All right, Sean, give me 1 second here and we can edit this out, okay? Hang on.
Perfect.
Hang on. Yep. We've got a hot mess going. Here you go. Go find dad. Go take the dog. Thank you. All right. My apologies about that, and our editor will take that out.
No need to apologize.
So if I want to find somebody who can help me to edit videos and that sort of thing, where do I even look?
I think that you could go to local schools is always a good way. There's a lot of people coming out of college or creative college or community college that would love a shot to get hands-on with something cool, especially something like you're doing. I get that there's some people.
So you're talking maybe like our community college.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I also think that I would use Instagram hashtags. You could even potentially use local ads to put an ad in front of somebody that maybe has an affinity for certain things, because here's what I'd want. I would actually want an aspiring YouTuber that's maybe already proven to have put out a couple of videos, edited their own things. They have a little portfolio, but they're not monetizing it at whatever level yet. And so they can work with you to sharpen their skills and actually get to work on a creative project and make some money in the process and still have bandwidth to, you know, be leveling up their own YouTube skills. Craigslist is honestly another one. And again, a lot of times for video production, people, the old school mentality is like, it's $139 an hour to edit, and the edits are really slow. And you don't want that. You want like a new school, young hustler. I think that at even, let's say $30 or $40, let's go $30 an hour. Imagine if you sat down and delivered, you know, a couple videos in say 4 hours, then I don't know, I'm not good at math, $120.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it only takes them, if they're a good editor, maybe 2 hours per video or less. So then it's $60 a video. You put one video out a week, that's $60 a week after your shoot day. And this could be very practical.
Okay. So in my head, I'm thinking I totally transitioned out of that painting company. We got out of that business about 2 years ago because the business coaching was doing so well. How does YouTube work for people who don't have like a craft or like a project that they're doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, what does that look like for people who are for lack of a better example, business coaching? Can YouTube still be as valuable to them?
Of course. So, you know, just like any business or any content online, you want to measure the market size. You could use a tool like Google Keyword Planner to just see how many people are looking for a certain type of business coaching per month. And that's usually going to be actually a smaller number than maybe people who are looking on how to do a DIY Harry Potter magic wand. That actually is probably highly searched. And so everything is predicated to market size, but probably so would your fees and business model, because in business coaching, you maybe only need 10 views a month of highly qualified leads that one or two of those people end up doing business with you. And so let's explain the strategy on YouTube. The reason why every creative, especially that has business coaching or not, needs to be on YouTube is because YouTube's the second largest search engine where people are looking to solve projects. A great example people could look up is Stone Coat Countertops. They've been through our training and our programs, but they're just crushing it. And so they have brick and mortar epoxy countertops that they're making the imitation, like certain stones. And so they do that for people. Okay. They also have their YouTube channel, 10 million views a month, where they're putting out tutorials of how you can do it. And then on their website, they sell the materials so that you could DIY your own countertops, watch their videos. Then they have a live event now. Then he wrote a book on YouTube how he used YouTube to really scale, and actually, no joke, 100x his business, because he had a local business, and they were doing local, and YouTube just spread it around the world. So when you start getting into woodworking, painting, DIY, tutorials of any kind, it is a massive market on YouTube that anyone listening can jump right into. Business coaching, it was the same. How to create healthy culture in your business, how to team, whatever. But you definitely, here's a couple, I'll give you 3 quick tips for people to jumpprstart on YouTube. Number 1 is research before you press record.
Okay. This is where I fail miserably. And I can tell you why, because I'm pretty impulsive. So I like to kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and that lack of intentionality, I think, is why there's been a lack of, real substantial growth on that channel.
Well, and I would think because of your energy, because of your tribe, because you are playing to your strengths, it's working in a live setting where the promise is you're always fired up and you're going to deliver value, but I'm not exactly sure what kind of value you're going to deliver. I'm just following you and I want to get that. Ooh, whereas on YouTube, you want to be much more calculated.
Okay.
Plus, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So planning is actually always going to level up the impact of your end content. It's kind of like, it's the difference between, you might get lucky if you're just shooting off bullets in the air and a bird flies by and you happen to hit it, but it's always much better to aim at something and then have, reverse engineer and play it like backwards from what you're trying to achieve. So why? What you do when you go to YouTube, and what you can do is you can start typing into the YouTube search bar. And if this particular video ends up on YouTube, we're actually getting crazy right now, and I'm going to take you into exactly how to do this.
Whoa, there we
could
go.
DIY wood projects, 8,100 searches a month. And what we're seeing on screen on the podcast, we're using a tool called keywordseverywhere.com. It's free.
Okay.
And what it does is it gives you the amount of search volume next to certain terms, so you can actually see how popular topics are. And so you can get into like a DIY wood countertop, but the deeper you go, and as they say in internet marketing, the riches are in the niches. Well,
Amen.
the breakout video ideas are as you get more specific. So you might say DIY countertops over laminate, or over bathroom or laundry room. Well, this is why you need to research before you press record, because what you don't want to do is get stuck in your own head and make something up and then try to figure out how to position it later. You actually want to figure out the exact thing that the audience is looking for. Because when I help people in like the fitness industry, and when it's not just how to lose weight, it's too broad.
Right.
How to lose weight for women. Well, we just cut the population in half. Now it's better. But now it's how to lose weight fast for women without dieting. Now we're getting there.
Yeah.
And you can actually have, or how to lose belly fat for women over 50. Now we're really getting there. Yeah. And so you could see how you put out these strategic video ideas. Number one, research before you press record. Number two, you want to rank videos, meaning your goal. When we were just looking on screen here, we saw the exact search terms people were searching. And people listening, if you go to Google, you've typed before, and Google finishes your sentences.
Yes.
Kind of like auto predict. Those things Google is predicting and the YouTube search bar is predicting are the exact search phrases that people are searching around the world in order of how much they're being searched on YouTube. So you're getting these insights of how you should basically title your video. You're getting the insights into the exact intent of what people, check this out, that you don't know yet. People that don't know that Jennifer is good for it and that you're awesome. They just know they have a problem or a project or something they want to do. So when they type in that search term and then they find you, it starts this relationship, and then that can lead people into your world. And then number three of our 3 tips is you want to research before you press record, rank your videos, and then set up reoccurring revenue streams. Because when you're getting these views when you snooze, views 24/7, whether you work or not. And if it's leading into reoccurring revenue streams, now you're really creating a lifestyle business with true freedom and real leverage, so you can work on all the other things that we need to do as entrepreneurs, or just spend time with your family, your kids, and living the life you want to live.
Okay, so I've got lots of questions. Number one, do we want to be focused more on subscribers or getting views?
Views is really all that matters. As my channel, subscribers matter too, but as channels age, people come and go and disengage. It's always about that actual consumption of the video itself. So both are important. In fact, let me give you something more important. YouTube tells us the order of importance inside of analytics. It gives you 3 metrics. The lowest one is subscribers. It says, hey, you got 500 new subscribers this month. The next one is views. Okay, you got 10,000 views this month. But the final one, and what YouTube values the most, is minutes.
Minutes, yes. I actually knew that, right?
Most.
Okay.
And so that means also too, you don't just want to have a sensational headline. You don't just want to get someone to click on the video. You want to actually just add real value. And it's about that deeper connection, in the sense where you just want them consuming the content. So that goes into, you're not trying to trick someone where they land on the video like, I thought this was going to be amazing. You actually kind of want to be almost practical, because when it's exactly what they're looking for and you deliver that value, then you get those minutes, and that's what triggers the most growth on your YouTube channel.
Okay. So next question. Tell me how I just got a check. I have no clue how that even happened. If somebody wants to start to monetize their YouTube channel, clearly I set something up a hot minute ago that I have forgotten all about, is my guess. How does one even start with, like, if somebody's like, you know what, I have a decent YouTube channel, like, are there minimums that YouTube is looking for in terms of views or minutes or anything like that before you can actually monetize the channel, or what's that look like?
Yes, the minimums are 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, 4,000 hours of watch time within 12 months. Once you've hit that threshold, you can apply for the YouTube partnership program. And then once you're accepted, you can turn on ads and monetization on your videos. And the usual rates for that are around $2 per 1,000 views.
Okay.
However, that it could be lower. Let's say you're putting out just like kind of base level cat video, viral videos.
Yeah.
Although those could have a higher, what's called CPM. It's possible to have $5 to 10 or even more CPM, meaning the amount of money you make for 1,000 monetizable views. But to put that in perspective, if you're only making $2 per 1,000 views, you will earn $2,000 for 1,000,000 views. And this is why I'm sure it's things you teach, why YouTube ads are cool, but it's not the main strategy you recommend, because you're kind of getting paid pennies for views as opposed to other income streams that I encourage people to set up. But
Absolutely.
I've pulled up your channel, and here's what's crazy is whether you're uploading, okay, you are uploading some new videos, 6 videos published here, and you have 75 new subscribers and almost 10,000 views a month. So this is where you're making money, and that's filling up your account over time because your past library, or maybe the majority of your videos, have some sort of ads turned on, or just
literally all we've been posting is my podcast episodes. So lame. Okay. All right. A couple more questions. If I'm not a techie person, is there any way I can just use my iPhone to do videos, or do I really need to just step it up a notch and have somebody come video me?
No, your iPhone is great. And what I wanted to say earlier is that it's so important that everyone listening realizes that content value is infinitely more important than production value.
Thank you. Okay.
And so again, what is the intent of that person that is typing that search in? What we're learning is actually that overproduced content sometimes reduces trust. And that what people are looking for is kind of just raw and authentic content. Doesn't mean it's sloppy. It doesn't mean it's not maybe edited out some of the fluff, but your phone is fine. Right. It's about that viewer on the other side. And what did they hope? If they hope to have their closet organized by the end of the video and that you achieve that result for them, that's what they're going to love. They're not going to overly judge your video. I'll tell you this. I was looking for a pressure washer the other day. On my back porch here, my wife is so in love with feeding the birds. That creates a great atmosphere of having birds around, but it also comes with a lot of piles of poop, right? So
it does.
Yep, they're all over. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get a pressure washer. Where did I go? YouTube. I was like, I want to see a review on this Honda pressure washer. I found a video. Turns out this video had 250,000 views, and I've never seen a video shot worse. I swear the person, like, do you have to shake your phone? Like, it's almost like seems like you're trying to make it worse than, but here's the deal. I wasn't there judging how shaky the video was or not. This guy had a big old barn with all kinds of tools. So he was he had some experience. I didn't. So I was just looking for someone to help me make a decision, avoid a bad product, find a good product. And sure enough, I was getting value out of the video. Turns out 250,000 other people also were just curious about learning some information about this. And the video could not have been worse. Now, I don't encourage you to film during, level 10 earthquakes.
Right.
Like you want to maybe like have some good lighting and don't be next to a railroad station with the background noise. But don't worry so much about the production value. Think about the biggest questions are who and what. Who is your target audience? And what problem do you solve from them? And you really got to answer this, because some people might be like, well, problem? I don't know if I solve a problem. I'm just kind of entertaining people with my art. That's a problem. People, they want entertainment. I know I do after work. Why do people watch The Office? Why do people watch Netflix or listen to whatever, or read books? So maybe you do solve an entertainment problem, a chance for people to relax, or you solve a more practical business problem like, hey, are you stressed out and your systems and your business is in disarray? We'll get systems going. Your money's messed up, we'll help you with accounting. Your taxes are messed up, we'll help you with taxes. What is the problem of your target audience? You hate all of your projects, or you're breaking your drill bit and your wood is jacked up and whatever. I'm gonna help you do it right. You wanna know how to make a coffee bean epoxy countertop, which is a high search term that Stone Coat did. Sure enough, boom, we're going to take you step by step through that. And if you want to actually get the epoxy, that's all on our website too. Multiple streams of income built around this problem.
Now you're talking my love language.
For that end person you are trying to help.
Okay. That was fantastic. How often do we need to be uploading new content? Does YouTube have best practices? Obviously you're doing it on the regular. For somebody that's not Sean, what would you suggest?
Well, I do think that once a week is a good minimum. And I do think there's something to say for really being honest with yourself about what season you're in. If you're in a hobby exploration season, listening to this great podcast, kind of just brainstorming about what you might do in the future, then that's great. But hey, if you know you've been on the fence too long and even you've been dabbling in your content, you really need to make a mindset shift and start dominating. And that means saying, I am a serious creator. I'm not just, this isn't a hobby. I'm doing this as a professional. I'm doing this because I want to build my business or make money online and build my brand. And weekly content is the minimum, in my opinion, for just entry into the game. Okay. The world is so noisy. You want to be showing up on a consistent time, a consistent place, with a consistent value proposition that, again, you don't want to be talking to 52 different people 52 weeks of the year. You're talking to that target who that you want to help. And you're solving a problem that's pretty narrow in the sense where if one week you're helping me fix my plumbing and the next week you're helping me catch more Pokemons on Pokemon Go, we are way out of alignment in our brand. Okay. So you want it to be narrow, and so it continues to serve people. And I think this is where you see entrepreneurs who really pioneered on YouTube, even like a Marie Forleo, who's one of the biggest female entrepreneurs on YouTube. Look what she did. She probably realized, look, I could go on NBC, I could go on CBS, I could go on USA for a fortune, or I could go on YouTube. And that actually might be the best out of all the options that I just listed. Oh yeah, and it's free. And I have a channel that's on smart TVs, phones, global reach, over 2 billion monthly active users logged in with Gmail accounts.
Oh my goodness.
To distribute my content and to produce my weekly show. And that show, again, you don't have to overthink it. If you look at Marie Forleo today, it's scary. It's like, oh, it's a video production and she's got a team and she's got all this editing. And it feels like that's what you need. Never compare your beginning to somebody else's middle.
Sure.
If you go back to her oldest video, you could see she's sitting on her couch with a laptop on her lap, just doing Q&A with her audience. But she committed to doing the Marie TV show for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, Bill Gates said, it's been requoted by a lot of people, people overestimate what they can accomplish in 1 year, but underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 to 10. It is important to know that YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint.
Not a sprint.
And that when you commit to just putting out consistent content to a consistent target audience with a consistent value proposition, i.e. the problem and promise you are giving to your audience, you can build so much momentum there and content equity, because eventually you have a library that when you cross promote or even as people discover your other content, here's your goal on YouTube. In today's world, there's a famous term called binging TV shows. What show? Have you ever binged a TV show?
You know what? We are currently binge watching something called Dead to Me on Netflix.
There you go.
I am not a TV watcher. Like, I don't like the news. I don't even have a television on until sometimes right before bed. What I have found is that Netflix series and movies are sometimes the only way I can get my mind to kind of calm down, or massages. Those are the times that I can kind of like turn off the phone, turn off my head, and kind of fully get somewhere else. So that's what we're currently binging. We are binging on Dead to Me.
So I love it. And I'm sure everyone listening can think about that time when they maybe went a little hardcore and binged a show. I remember my wife was out of town with family for a while, and I had a full-time job at the time, but I heard from some people that Breaking Bad was like this really, show that sucks you in. And I think I finished 4 seasons in 10 days. I mean, dark circles under my eyes.
The biggest lie we ever tell ourselves is just one more episode.
Just one more.
Just one more.
3 a.m., one more, like
one more.
Ben and Jerry's chocolate stain on my...
Like, and from a marketing perspective, because 5 years ago, I would have looked at that different. But now as a marketer, I look at that and I'm like, it's stinking genius. Just how they lay out just so great, the cliffhanger ending and layout, and give you just the tiniest bit enough so that you want to go to the next one. It's genius from a marketing perspective.
And so here's what's exciting about YouTube is your goal is to have people binge your content on YouTube. So in my world, I help people with the tips and the tools for building their influence with online video. So what I've learned is when people are finding videos in search, they might be like, hey, what's the best camera for YouTube? They meet me. And then when towards the end of the video though, I could say, hey, look, I mean, the camera is great, but without lighting, it's just not going to look right. So if you want to see my video on lighting, click or tap the screen right there, or you can check out this playlist. But
Brilliant.
then they're watching lighting. I'll say, look, if you got the best videos in the world, content value is actually more important. Like phone or a camera, doesn't matter if you don't have the right strategy. So if you want to see my YouTube strategy series, we'll start with setting up your channel. But hey, once your channel's set up, you're going to have to set up some videos. So you want to think about that in your world. Hey, you might actually sometimes think about one project that you think is one video might be a 4-video series. Let's get the first part done, link people to the second part, link people to the third part, and educating people through that journey, because you see this opportunity of taking people. It's non-linear. They might parachute in all places, but this is why YouTube's so powerful, because you want people, minutes matter most.
Yes.
Time on platform matters most. And we've also learned about marketing. Let's talk about business results. There used to be this rule of 7, famous rule in marketing, that for your message to basically get into the head of that target audience, to kind of penetrate their psychology, they just need to hear it 7 times. 7 times hear the jingle. Yep. They even want it the first time. Like, I heard about the sale at the store, but my kids came into the room and kicked a cup of coffee onto my lap and I forgot. So you need the repetition. Well, guess what? In today's world, think with Google just released new stats that you need 21 to 24 touch points before you generate a viable sales lead even. Get someone on your email list, get them in a webinar or something. So what I've learned is that YouTube is the ultimate platform to do this, because when someone meets me on one video, we're able to go, I think about it like dating and relationships.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, nice to meet you, let's get married, and whatever your business model is. It's like, hey, let's go on a few dates. And they're navigating their way through that journey. It's like, man, I hung out with the camera. I got some value over here on the strategy. I've met you over here. And now, okay, I will go to another level with you, because you're giving people results in advance. People, what's the point of all of this? It's the way business works. People are getting to know, and trust you through this valuable content that you're putting on YouTube.
Love that so much. And my crowd has heard me preaching on know, like, and trust a million times. So for the woman who's hearing this podcast right now, who's like, dang, I am late to the YouTube game, haven't even started a channel yet, what would you say to her?
I would say the best time to start building your platform on YouTube was 2005. The second best time is right now.
Today.
And it's 100% not too late. You might feel like, shoot, where was I? Why am I hiding under this rock? The fact you are listening to Jennifer's podcast means you are already really far ahead, because your neighbors aren't. Your neighbors are doing something else. Your lazy cousin, Terry,
taking a nap right now,
not thinking about these new tools, these new platforms. And so the truth is, while yes, we are kind of seeing these in social media and YouTube kind of starting to mature, it's all still so young, and it's still a teenager. I mean, YouTube is 14 years old, and everyone listening that's got a teenager, they're not fully mature yet, and they're not fully responsible yet, right? So you're still at a really, really great time to maximize YouTube. And the thing I would also say is that the difference between winning on YouTube right now and maybe had you started a little bit earlier is chess and checkers. If you started in 2005 or 15 and you just kind of had some strategy, I mean, checkers is a fun game. It does take strategy. You make a few moves right, you can win. I would say that in today's world, you do need to be playing a little bit of a deeper game. Yes. And that just means having the right strategies. Again, if you just kind of shot from the hip and you were just like, hey, I don't know, I hope some stuff works. It might have worked on YouTube before. You can win now, but you just want to go through that process. Make sure you start with the end in mind. Research before you press record. Put a plan together. And, we have a lot of resources to help people so that you can shorten your learning curve and ultimately go further faster.
That is fantastic. I'm going to ask you about those resources in just a second. Do you have just a couple more minutes? I could do something fun, just like a rapid fire that has nothing to do with YouTube. And then we'll tell people where they can find you on the interwebs. I just like when I have guests asking them a few questions at the end, just so people can kind of get to know the person behind the person. So real quick, what's your favorite Netflix series right now? Especially since we were just talking about Netflix.
My wife and I liked Imposter season 1, but season 2 is not really gripping.
Oh, okay. Now I got another one I got to go look up. Favorite book of all time?
The Bible.
Absolutely. Favorite room in your home and why?
Probably this office that I'm sitting in, my home office, because it's my creative laboratory.
Love that. Totally love that. Okay. And your favorite vacation spot?
Our favorite vacation spot is probably Leavenworth, Washington, a small Bavarian town, a couple hours outside of Seattle, Washington, right by Stevens Pass. If you like to snow or snowboard or ski. And we have a timeshare that is credits based, so we can go anywhere we want. But that's one of our favorite places to be during Christmas. They've got this amazing Christmas lighting ceremony where the whole town shuts down and they turn all the lights on at the same time. And there's all kinds of characters walking around. And it's a really, really cool spot. People should all visit it. It's also great during the summer, kind of like an Oktober fest vibe, but winter is enchanting.
Love it. So you're a skier.
Snowboarder.
Love it. Fantastic. So Sean, thank you so much for all this information. My head's kind of spinning, got to be honest. And so I'm going to be, chatting with the team on our next team meeting about, okay, friends, what do we need to do to be a little more intentional? So would you mind sharing with our audience, like where they can find you in the online space? Where do you like to play other than YouTube? Where's your favorite?
Yeah, so other than YouTube, probably Instagram right now at Sean Cannell, SeanCannell. Cannell rhymes with channel.
I know. I will never forget that as long as I know you now. Cannell rhymes with channel. That's great.
And and then on YouTube, if you just type in the words Think Media, Think Space Media, that's the main channel with a lot of recommendations along the tool side and some strategies. And then we also have a weekly interview show with entrepreneurs and YouTubers. So it's kind of the intersection of learning from the YouTubers who are kind of on that entertainment side, and they've got these strategies, meeting the world of entrepreneurship that really understands the biz dev side. And so it's called video influencers, the word video space influencers. If you type Think Media or video influencers into the YouTube search bar, you'll get there. And then I think YouTube Secrets. You can get the ebook, I think, for around $4.99 right now on Amazon, or the physical book. All the Amazons around the world, including the audiobook as well on Audible. So any way to grab that, that is your roadmap. That's a game plan for, shaving 75% off of your YouTube learning curve, getting that right information, and then launching right. And I would say this, keep it simple. I know after all this information, your head definitely could be spinning, but you really just got to punch fear in the face, punch perfectionism in the face, and press record.
Love that so much. Sean, thank you so much for being here. All right, my friends. So go check Sean out when you get a chance. Show him some love on social media. Make sure you go check him out on Instagram in particular. And I want to know, go and leave us a podcast review. Let us know if you're going to be doubling down on some YouTube efforts. I know we are really going to be changing what we've been doing here at Team Allwood. So appreciate you being here this week. I'll have you back next week. Next week, we're actually talking about my thoughts on free pop-up Facebook groups. Now that I had one, I was very anti-free groups. We tried one just on a pop-up only, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts all about that next week. So we will talk to you then. Until then, stay creative. Bye-bye.